Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Ecom Pulse podcast. I'm Eitan Kote, your host, and today I'm going to interview Atay Schulberg, Strategic Enterprise Executive at Byond XR. Atay, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me, Eitan. It's a pleasure to be here.
Great, Atay. This is going to be an amazing episode. I mean, we're going to discuss some really innovative stuff, right? Web3, Metaverse, AI, and
All the good stuff, I
all
would
the good
say.
stuff, like the future of e-commerce. So, Atay, before we get to the gritty into the details, let's start with your personal journey. Please share with us, where you start, how you ended up here with Beyond XR, and what are you working on these days?
So I would say I traveled the untraveled path, so to speak. I was always, I had an obsession with Asia. And in my 20s, I decided to travel to China. And
Wow.
I stayed there for 4 years, studied there, and started my professional journey there in the vibrant manufacturers markets. So I had a partner. He was a Chinese dude, one of my good friends to this day, and we have established a business essentially that connects manufacturers from China and factories with e-commerce stores or importers in Israel and in worldwide. So that
Hmm.
was kind of my my jump to the ocean, let's say, and that was the catalysator that made me fall in love with e-commerce
Yeah.
and everything around it, from the supply chain, manufacturing to the front end of you know customer engagement and marketing and sales, and everything around that, basically. So after 4 long years, amazing years, I returned to the country and I was managing the entire shipment volume for a big um, distributor in Israel, basically.
Okay.
So I was buying and selling goods from Hong Kong, moving to Dubai, to Europe, to the US, and so on. So it's really like the back end of the supply chain. So I was,
Hmm.
learning what it is to fly, tens of containers, a day, to different countries and so on.
Sure.
And then I've decided to jump to the front. So I have established a very nice e-commerce business from within the company, since we already were one of the top companies that knew how to buy the best price, the best products, the hottest products, and we started building e-commerce shops, on different marketplaces and our own
Okay.
destinations, and that was another step of the journey. And
Yeah.
long story short, I mean, I was working for several major companies and really getting to know the entire ecosystem of e-commerce. Because I'm like that, it's hard for me to do one thing at a time, and I need to know it all. So,
Yeah.
and so in recent years, because I'm a huge geek as well, and I love everything around, virtual reality and gaming and storytelling, essentially, because you know e-commerce, and it's not only e-commerce but every engagement that brands have with customers is around storytelling, and how do you tell the
Sure.
best stories in the best way. And when the whole metaverse craze started, I was hyped. I mean, I waited for that for so many years,
Yeah.
uh, and when I came across Beyond XR, it was really natural to just pivot, let's say, or it's semi pivoting my career and joining, rapidly growing startup in the field of metaverse. Am I allowed to say metaverse today? Is this allowed? Like, it's a
I mean,
thing?
definitely, as a representative of Beyond XR, definitely you have the approval to do so because Beyond XR is such an amazing company. As exactly as you said, we were waiting for so many years for immersive experience to become alive in actual commerce, use cases. So obviously, Byond XR is a retail tech company, develops immersive 3D commerce platform for brands. And let's jump in. I mean, let's please share with us what Byond XR is really all about, and
Sure.
how do you see this happening and growing?
So, essentially, when we speak about e-commerce, it's not what it used to be, right? So
Sure,
it's not just a transaction, because when you talk about e-commerce today, and when you talk about the new breed of audiences, of customers, Gen Z and millennials, it has to be an adventure. It has to be a discovery journey, right?
sure,
So
sure.
so many brands are at this crossroad. They have this huge challenge. How do you engage with this new audience, new generation of consumers, which are tech savvy, which are super precise, and they have specific requirements. They need connection, they need personalization, they need community. And I think on top of that is the need to really identify yourself with the brand that you're purchasing as well. So a lot of companies, had this problem, and voila, today tech allows us to blur the lines between physical and virtual. So today brands can really connect with the customers in a much more deeper, meaningful ways using VR, XR, AR tech. And as I was saying, like the one size fits all, approach doesn't work anymore for brands, for online retail, and
Sure.
you have to think about, uh, telling your story in a much, in a better way. And I think what we're doing in Byond XR since 2015, even before the word metaverse was there,
Yeah.
is we bridge this gap between the physical and the virtual using our immersive brand engagement platform that we have created. So, I mean, I can talk about the platform, and it's offering super personalized, high resolution 3D spaces that you can modify and utilize to engage with your customers in a much in a richer way, right? So it's
Yeah.
full of activations from gaming, mini games, and questionnaire, and social feeds and everything. But it really is like we are user centric, multi-dimensional experience builders, and we we go to brands which have this issue with these burning questions of how do we engage with this new type of consumer. How do you decipher Web3, VR, XR, AR? Because so many organizations are already struggling to swim in the very complex waters of e-commerce as it is. Then now you're presenting them these new platforms and new capabilities, and they're kind of lost,
Yeah.
right?
Sure.
So you see within brands, within companies, they start to build their own teams, their own metaverse teams, innovation teams dealing with Web3 and how to decode it. So what
Yep.
Beyond is doing is really take the brands, retailers by the hand, and show him, help him engage in the best ways. We are working today. We are very privileged to work with L'Oreal and Lego and P&G and Unilever, and in so many different verticals, creating virtual showrooms and virtual storefronts, and it's all aligned with your campaigns, and you can really streamline all the brands messaging, and the true intention. And you can tell your story in the way that you wanted to tell it. And this is something that Web 2.0 cannot do,
For
basically.
sure. For sure. I
So,
think it's
yeah.
important. Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, it's okay. I can talk all day. So
Yeah, we can
you
talk all day. I think it's important probably to bring things a little bit down to earth, right? So, I mean, all these
right.
big words, right? And I know you are doing real business with real brands. You're providing
True.
an amazing value. I think it will help if you can provide one or two example of specific use cases that implemented Byond XR on their own website.
Sure. So I mean, I can take for example L'Oreal. So
Yeah.
we started working with them. They needed us to build them digital twin of their
Hmm.
flagship store in Paris, and it was during the pandemic. And
Got it.
they built this massive, beautiful store. Cost millions and millions of dollars, and they couldn't bring their audiences there. They couldn't, engage with the clients. So they approached
Sure.
Beyond and they said, build us this store. And
Hmm.
from this store that we've built, which is a kind of the exact replica of the Paris shop, but with like multi-layered, activations and everything that we do. This relationship as you know as established. We since then we have created more than 30 shops for Lancome. So what we do best is scalability. So if a brand, for example, he wants to build a virtual digital twin, but for enterprises and multi-market brands, they need their experience to be streamlined across all the markets, right? So what we do as a platform, you can actually use the platform to build, a master template of the
Okay.
experience, and then really cost effectively and easily to just duplicate it, right? So you copy paste the experience and change different elements like the avatars, the language, the products, because what is selling
Hmm.
in China doesn't sell in Europe. And, assets like video and social feeds. And voila, you got, another, a completely, localized experience. So we were able to utilize the platform, and Lancome, was able to launch 30 shops in 6 months. So today
Wow.
they have all these virtual amazing flagship stores, located in Asia and in Europe and the US, and that's quite remarkable.
Wow.
Um, I would also want to speak about another point, which is Gen Z, because
Yeah.
we talk about Gen Z. I mean, these guys, they know what they want, and many brands. I'm talking about very classic brands, right? The heavier brands. So we're working with Helena Rubinstein and Estee Lauder, for example, and
Yeah.
these are brands that if you talk to a 16-year-old today, maybe, I don't know, she might heard about them, but if it's not in her TikTok feed, or if she didn't heard about it from her friends, then maybe she doesn't know it. And
Sure.
you know brands need to decipher that. And so what we see that using virtual experiences, for example, for Estee Lauder, we were able to, because we measure everything. So everything is, we have a very robust
Analytics.
analytics
Yeah.
on everything, because we are data driven, and everything is optimized. So we were able to measure 9 years reduction in the average, user age of
Wow.
this brand from classic channel,
Wow.
which is phenomenal. So you
Amazing.
can see the impact, in real time. You can see that it's making a difference. I can tell you that engagement times, so, classic e-commerce, so you spend, how long do you spend on a web page, right? On a product
Yeah.
page? So 30 seconds max, which is high.
Hmm.
So we see 4.5, 5.5 minutes on average of users spending time engaging with the brands, playing games, winning loyalty points, signing up, so you can use it as a lead generator and really build a community around that, and
Sure.
really touch, like, and create, an experience that users would like to go back to over and over again.
Yes.
So again, we have over 300 experiences launched, so I can
Amazing.
uh,
So
Yeah,
Maybe just help the audience to understand. And I know you're a SaaS platform, and you provide access to kind of a studio that you can create your experiences. But there's always like more than the technology itself, rendering the 3Ds, making sure everything works smoothly on the website. There is also an art, right, to design those environments and like
100%.
creative stuff. So are you providing these services? Usually the customer are providing this. How it's all fit together, because it knows that not just technology and the platform, but also needs creativity around that, right?
Yeah, so that's a very valid question, Eitan. I mean,
Yeah,
when a brand approaches today, then it's either they have an agency, their marketing agency, or internal teams that are already very capable and know how to create
sure.
3D spaces and 3D models. For example,
It's
some, please,
yeah, it's
please go
probably
ahead.
true for it's probably true for the big enterprise, let's say the big companies, right?
So yeah, I mean, you would be surprised, but not all of them. I mean, some verticals are more bound to be in this space because if you talk about fashion or,
Correct.
companies like Adidas, for example, they have adopted Web3 and immersive activations long ago. So they
Sure.
really, uh, their design process already, it's have, 3D renderations and modeling of their designs.
Correct.
So it's really easy to take these assets and just, put them in the showroom or create an
Exactly.
environment.
Yeah.
But many brands, most of the brands and retailers do not have these capabilities or hold these assets. So we
Mm-hmm.
have our own internal studio, the XR studio
Uh-huh.
of architects and 3D designers and Unreal, professionals
Yeah.
that create with our customers the space and of course the journey, which can be anything. It can be what a digital twin of a shop, but it can
Yeah.
be in outer space or underwater. So
Yeah. So if
yeah,
someone comes to you with a physical store and they want to replicate this to a digital space, obviously you
this
can.
is easy. I mean,
Yeah.
taking something existing and put it like throwing it and start building it according to the exact measurements. That's I would say that's goes without saying. We do it for many years, but the real challenge is to really create something anew. And we're not dealing with
Yeah.
real estate; it's virtual real estate. So when
Mm-hmm.
when you say everything is open, like you are only bound by you're limited by your imagination, it's amazing, but it also makes everything much more complex because you have to think,
Correct.
okay, so what do I do? So
Yeah.
that's exactly how this journey, from kickoff, to start building the concept and of course the core engine is your KPIs as a brand, your commercial targets
Sure.
essentially.
So
That
for a typical project, let's say in this scenario of duplicating a physical store, what is usually the time it takes to set up such a virtual showroom?
Yeah, so I would say since we're working with brands and also with partners, so sometimes, a partner will come and say, look, I have everything ready. I have the model of the space. I just need the keys to the platform, your
Mm-hmm.
self-service capabilities. I want to manage it, I want to modify and so on. And then, it can be like 6 weeks or so, 4 weeks, 6 weeks,
Wow.
we have to train them obviously on the platform and
Sure.
build the journey together. But so I would say, it can take anywhere between 4 weeks to 12 or 14 weeks for very heavy projects.
Very heavy
So it's
project.
about
Yeah.
3 months, which is also pretty fast, I would say.
Sure.
Since it's a platform, I mean, we are not an agency, so we do not build anew every time that we build. It's not like we have to create everything from zero. So we have a platform, that's what we do.
Sure.
So it's very time effective. Yeah.
Really amazing stuff. So from the brand perspective, looking at new brands, but maybe trying to justify the ROI or working, with such a technology or trying to understand, the values and the benefits. How do you see this immersive experience and immersive commerce, uh, different from traditional online shopping from the brand's
Mm.
perspective? From users, obviously, it's very clear to understand. But from the brands, what are the major, KPIs that they are evaluating when they're deciding to work with you, or what are the
Mhm.
main benefits of working with companies like yourself?
So first of all, we are working with a few main verticals, right? So it's CPG, beauty, fashion, luxury, uh,
Okay.
food and beverage, and so on.
Yeah.
And each one of these verticals have their own kind of use cases and KPIs, right? Because if you sell CPG products, and you want to focus on the on brand engagement and discovery and
Yeah.
awareness, right? Because it's not really about selling your shampoo online or in a virtual space. It's about building the
Correct.
community. But if you sell Chanel or you sell a car, then it's about the product, and really building um, a luxury journey, and it's more about the conversion, perhaps. Although it's mixed. But I would
Hmm.
say that when brands approach us, and we are called the immersive brand engagement platform for a reason, I would say that we, in the end of the day, everything affects the bottom line. Okay, it goes without saying, because when you have good engagement and people spend time reading and learning and playing with the brand, and learning the history and immerse themselves in the brand world, then
Sure.
obviously that leads to conversion. But
Yeah.
I think what we love to do best, and the best KPIs and ROI that we can provide, is around engagement and loyalty. Because first you want to engage in the most quality way with your customers, and then
Sure.
you want to create a loyal audience. You want to build a community. And I think this what's the immersive commerce and immersive brand loyalty allows these communities to be built, because you can really create your own mini world, your mini metaverse, let's say, your brand that aligns perfectly with your brand essence, something that you cannot do in 2.0 e-commerce, right? You can do it
Sure.
maybe offline. I mean, you can go to a shop, you can smell, you can touch, you have a vibe, you can go and shop with your friends. But today, when you go on online shopping, it's just not there.
Sure.
And what we and I just touched a really important point that's becoming more and more important now. It's social shopping.
Yes.
People don't want to shop alone. They want to share the experience. So we allow them. We integrate all these solutions for social shopping, for let's hang out, and um and play games, and like, I'll send you this game and beat my score, and then you jump in the experience, and then we're gonna and there's influencers broadcasting from within the experience, similar, actually, a
Wow.
lot very similar to what you guys are doing,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
With
But from within the experience, you say. Yeah.
Exactly. But you're talking about engagement, you're talking about an experience, and real time conversion, let's say. I
Yes.
mean,
Yes.
because just a byproduct, I would say. The conversion aspect, it's a byproduct of a good experience and loyal, audience, basically. So
Amazing.
I guess the KPIs are there, definitely.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And how do you see this immersive commerce, integrated with all the machine learning and AI,
Oh, it's
functionalities and
integrated.
use cases?
Yeah.
I know you're doing a lot. Yeah, I mean, please share. How do you see this happening? Is it around the recommendation, around the personalization, or how? I know you're working a lot with data, so let's elaborate on this topic.
So personalization is something that we are investing, you know, um, crazy amount of hours on solving, and really, basically, this field is changing rapidly all the time, because we are in
Yeah.
this kind of uh, market, the technological, bubble that is
Hmm.
changing all the time. The solutions are changing all the time. So what we can do today with AI, for example, is
Yeah.
really modify the visual aspects within the experience, even change products and layouts according to the person that is using the experience. So it can be
Wow.
a simple questionnaire, or a chatbot or virtual assistants that is ChatGPT based, for example, that
Hmm.
really deciphers who you are, what you're after, what will be interesting for you, and then we take you to some part of the experience, right? So it's built of spaces. So we
Sure.
can, jump shoot you to a certain element of the
Area. Yeah,
experience
element. Yeah.
area. And
Yeah.
then even in the area, do you like milk chocolate or white chocolate? So the whole, portfolio of products is changing according to your
Wow.
decision. So it's really crazy what you can do
Amazing.
with it. Yeah. So personalization is really powerful. And of course, I didn't talk yet about avatars and, how people would like to use their own avatars. We are getting to a point where people will have their own avatars,
Yep.
customized to their looks, and you have virtual try-ons inside the experience. So you can dress your avatar or
Sure.
yourself. You can analyze your skin tone. So it's all about personalization, right?
Correct. Correct. So how's the
And
avatar? Yeah. How the avatar is actually integrated in this commerce, scenario.
so you have different vendors for that. I mean, you have Ready Player Me and
Yeah.
others, uh, IDI and other companies that allows you to really embed these avatar vendors that are really becoming already widely used. So
Okay.
it's also streamlined. You can use your same character, in different platforms and different experiences. And I think the prominent use of them is really design your avatar and just walk the environment instead of, let's say, hotspots that shoots you from place to place in a more
Yeah.
gamified fashion. Just walk with the keyboard, as you would in Fortnite or other games.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I think going back to your original question about AI, this is the big enabler, right? Since AI allows us to do things in record speeds and
Yeah.
with, very high customization on spot. So yeah,
Yeah, amazing, amazing stuff. About all these existing virtual roles, you mentioned Rob. You mentioned, virtual worlds like,
metaverses, let's say.
yeah, like Roblox,
Yeah,
and others. How do you see commerce evolving? And I know we heard a lot of announcements during the last year about Nike and Adidas. I mean, they're all opening shops there. Are you involved in this in any way, or how do you see this trend evolving?
definitely. I mean, when we're speaking about extended reality or virtual reality experiences, then you have a
Yeah,
few ways you can go and approach that, right? So the power of these already existing metaverses or uh, you know platforms is that
yeah,
they got big audiences. I mean,
huge. Yeah.
I read that Roblox is hosting 70 million players every day or something like that, which is
Yes.
crazy.
Yes.
I mean, and when brands approach us, yes, this is a part of their plan, of their roadmap.
Okay.
Sometimes, but
Okay.
sometimes when a classic brand will approach and say, hey, or let's say Bacardi wants
Hmm.
to go deeper into Web3, and they say, "Oh, I want to launch, my Bacardi cocktail party in Roblox," and
In
then you say,
Roblox.
"Dude, but that's not the right,
That's not the right
age.
place.
You don't want to go
And
there."
not Fortnite, of course. No, try something else.
Exactly. But you see really innovative approaches now by brands, that really take it the extra mile and create this really innovative stuff in Roblox and in Fortnite.
Yeah.
Um, so I think it was Hugo Boss that launched, like Climb, the perfume bottle, was it, or something like that? And
Yes.
um, and so you can create these islands. But what is powerful about creating an external mini, metaverses is that you can build your own world. So for
Correct.
many brands, yes, you can use that, and launch experiences in Roblox, in Fortnite. I think it's a good approach,
Hmm.
especially for brands like, I mean, we were just very happy to launch an experience for Lego, for example. And
Okay.
you can see that they are doing fantastic things in Fortnite right now.
Sure.
They're extracting completely new user age and people who like it more chilled, so you can do so much, but they
Amazing.
I mean, this is the future of e-commerce. So you would use these platforms, and you will have your own, your own
Got it.
mini virtual lens.
Got it. I mean, speaking about the future of e-commerce, how do you see this immersive commerce evolving, in the
Well,
following years?
it's hard to tell, but one thing is like definite. I mean, as we started this conversation, these Gen Zs, millennials, they need experiences. They need social experiences. They need connection. They need storytelling. You cannot have it in regular e-commerce. You have to create
Yeah.
this phygital movement. And if you do phygital and you take them for a really like crazy physical like experience, and you shoot them to your 2.0 website, then it's underwhelming. I think it's fair to say that we're going towards a very virtual, immersive, e-commerce future. The
Yeah.
hardware is changing. We all see, the giants are investing heavily, if it's the Apple Vision Pro or Meta. And I think the mobile devices, which we didn't speak about it, but 85% of our users are basically mobile devices users, because it's
Wow.
web-based.
Sure.
It's going to change. I mean, because people want
Yeah.
more immersive. They want to feel, they want to, and it will open more tools for us as marketers, as brands, as e-commerce platforms to really
Yes.
utilize it. Yeah.
Yes. So from the consumer point of view, the shoppers, I mean, what is the feedback that you get in terms of, using the platform and, interacting with those immersive experiences?
First of all, I mean, if we're looking at the numbers of like from the audience side, and I
Yeah.
told you it's crazy. Like the engagement is off the charts, and it's something you cannot achieve with e-commerce today. And
You mean like time spent
time
on a web? Yeah.
spent and
Yeah.
and lead generation. I mean, loyalty sign up. Because
Loyalties. Yeah.
okay, play 3 mini games. Invite your friends. Get your coupon, and then like 90% of people play the game. Then you get signups,
Hmm.
um, and I mean, you can really create much deeper connections. Sorry, what was the question again? I kind of lost my trail of thought.
Yeah. Yeah. From the shopper's perspective, right?
Right.
What do you hear in terms of their feedback from using the or engaging with such an experience? Obviously, we talk about a gamification of commerce, right?
Right.
And
Right.
the community that you can invite various, you can invite your
Definitely.
friend to a purchasing journey. Yeah. Anything else that you'd like to add here? Again, from the shopper's perspective, what do you hear?
What I like about the fact that we are flexible in the use case that we can cater is
Yeah.
that we can do things that are out of the box. So, for example, immersive training for brands, for companies, internal use
Uh-huh.
cases, right?
Uh-huh.
So the
Yeah.
user doesn't have to be, the buyer.
The
So
shopper.
we have
Yeah.
just created this training, like one of the models in their courses, like very big global enterprise,
Yeah.
and it was built on a beautiful lake in Geneva. And each space had an instructor, like a virtual avatar instructor that was modeled by a real person that they know
Wow.
from the
Yeah.
company, and he introduces them to the curriculum and the rooms, and they can engage with video quizzes, for example. This is one of the things that we do, right? You watch a video, answer the questions, and then the instructors, they have this map, and they see exactly which, like, who completed what is the grade,
Got it.
so
Got it. Yeah.
and they were overblown, and the users, that it was voted like the best course they had in, like, I don't know, 30 years, the best ranking. And because, I think it speaks for itself. It's just like, what do
Sure.
we want to do? We want to play, we want to
Uh-huh.
experience. This is what life is all about. And it always comes down to delivering the best possible story, your story
Yes.
served in the best possible way. So
Yes, and you
yeah,
touched another point. It doesn't have to be always commerce, and sales, right? It can be an educational type of experience, maybe
100%,
training,
100.
customer support. Other use cases are definitely in
Employee
place.
hub, like
Employee
think
hub,
about,
yeah.
I just saw I saw that Meta launched today for Teams a 3D conference room that you can
Mm-hmm.
just, have your avatar. And so we do similar things with enterprise that say, hey, we got, 10,000 employees. We want them to meet in the virtual. We want to be able to schedule meeting in the virtual
Yeah,
cafeteria. Watch webinars and update on their benefits and throw a party, because
sure.
it's global. So you want to get everyone together. So it's really endless what you can do with that.
Nice,
And that's
nice.
that's really cool where it's going.
And,
Yeah.
and Atay, from your perspective, I mean, we've discussed so many use cases. I mean, how do you go to market? What's your marketing approach? Are you focusing on like specific niches or like size of customers? How do you
Yeah.
see the?
I mean, we have very defined ICP, I would say. I mean, we're talking about enterprise level companies, global, since our platform is built for scalability, and this is
Okay,
the best model that we can offer. Launch one and then duplicate it for a multi-market streamlined experience. Then
yeah.
obviously you know that we're talking about major global brands. I would say more in Europe and the US today,
Mm-hmm.
although we
Mm-hmm.
already had experience launch in China and Singapore, Thailand, and so on. And the verticals that we're focusing on is basically the verticals that we can give the most value after all the years of experience. So it's, as I said, luxury and beauty and CPG and food and beverage and alcohol companies,
Okay.
everything that's around experiential, brand awareness, brand engagement, loyalty, and so on. So yeah,
So Atay, this was really a fascinating topic. Really appreciate the time. On a personal
definitely.
note, on a personal note, could you tell us something about yourself that no other people knows about you?
Oh, Eitan, I thought you'd never ask. I,
Yeah,
I, I thought about it a lot,
yeah.
and I have, weird stuff going on, as all of us, but, I'm a big geek, as I said, and I have a massive comic book collection. And I think,
Wow.
what I love reading the most is comic books. So, I can go back home after a long day, you know, play with the kids, do whatever, and then just, immerse myself for like an hour and a half
If
in
you are not
in
immersed
comics.
enough, then
Exactly. So I'm just
yeah,
I'm a kid, and I think it's
wonderful.
yeah,
Okay, I would love to see that at one point of time. Really
come
interesting.
on, let's go. I'll
Sure, sure.
introduce you to some good
Great, Itai.
series. Yeah.
So where is the best way to find you? How do you like people to reach out to you and to Beyond?
You can, I don't know, send a pigeon. You can, like
Yeah,
shout. I mean, any platform I'm available, on LinkedIn, and on email. Obviously, we are attending a lot of webinars and going to trade shows, obviously. So, we are there.
great.
If people wanna find us, and we will continue to I don't know, be the bridge from physical to virtual.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
Atai, thank you so much. It was really,
Thank
really
you, Aitan. It
fascinating.
was really fun, and looking
Yes.
forward to the next one.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Bye.